Hi guys, what is going on? In today's video we're going to be bringing you a new dungeon build at long last. It has been such a long time since we had a new dungeon build. I've been running that golem build now. The golem dot resolver build must be over a year, and I'm really pleased to finally have a build that works very well in dungeons without having any dot resolver. And the good news is it works for lower reso players as well, and we will showcase both my max reso with my max stats as well as my lower reso build with lower stats, and we'll showcase that going through a dungeon, doing solo dungeons, so you can really see the output of this build. Now let's get into it and explain the build to you then, guys. So helm we're going to be taking is the Gatefist helm to reduce enemies armor so they take more damage, up to a maximum of 34.2% extra damage, you know, a hell of a lot more damage. We've then got Tempered Urn. This is going to be for bone spirits to deal more damage to burning enemies. I believe this would be the best chest piece that we can have for this build. There is many you could swap to. We've got Platter Spawls to increase our movement speed when we've got bone armor active. We've got Undying Malice. It's going to give us more critical hit chance while bone armor is active. We've then got Defiling Swarm, and you'll see a pattern here. There's lots of swirling stuff going on. So we've got Defiling Swarm for obviously generating a lot of corpses with that spinning around. We've then got Departed Appetite, which is going to make use of them corpses that we're going to generate from Grim Scythe, so we can actually have a spinning around vortex of bones. We've then got Blighted Crop. Now this is going to be for our bone spirits. This is going to trigger Soulfire Novas that deal AoE damage, cannot occur more than once every 1 second, and then the subsequent damage from multiple Novas to the same enemy will be reduced by 50%. We've then got the new Wraith Vexed, which is going to make our bone spirits teleport us to a location. When we get there after a short delay of casting, it conjures this huge swarm of spirits that will continuously damage all nearby enemies. And if you can get this class affixed, because it actually increases the radius, if you can get the class affixed to 2, 3 or 4 out of 4, then that is just like a massive area of the map. You are not going to be missing any mobs whatsoever. Set items then, guys, we've got 2-piece Vifus, we've got 4-piece Agments, and we've got 2-piece Barons. Now Agments is an important part of the build, because obviously you read on here, it will say duration of your additional ignite status is increased by 30%, and there's also a 15% chance of attaching an ignite status to the enemy when dealing damage. Now that ignite status is a burn, which obviously affects your Tempered Urn chest piece, which increases the damage to burn enemies, as well as having Roiling Consequences, which also applies a burn, which is what you want to be doing in this build. The more burns we're doing, the more increased damage we're going to be doing, because then burns are going to always be applied, and then Bone Spirit's going to be doing the massive amounts of damage it needs to be doing. Now, other things to bear in mind then, guys, we've got legendary gems that I'm currently using in my main build. Is going to be the Colossus engine, because it's mostly skill damage in this build. It's all skill damage in this build. We're also going to be having a size increase from this gem, which is going to make us move faster throughout the dungeon. I'm then using Bottled Hope, which again gives me a lot more damage and movement speed. It's a really good gem. Only use this if you can really push it above, say, rank 6 upwards. We then got the Spectre Glass, which is going to increase the damage we do to the enemies, because they're going to have their armor break done. We then use a Mother's Lament, crit hit chance, massive amounts of damage, always going to be good to take. We're then using Blood Flow. Again, this is another great gem for damage stacking, you know, increasing critical hit damage, and then you get additional bleed on the target as well. We've already explained why we're taking Roiling Consequences, but the main reason is the crit hit chance, massive amounts of damage. You know, crit hit chance is our biggest damage dealer in the game. You want to be getting that to like 90 plus, really, if you can. We've then got Bloodsoaked Jade, which is increasing damage and movement speed, and we've got the newest 5-star gem to the game, the Haunt Coil. And you'll see I'll replace a load of these in the lower reso build, and we'll go through that once we've done the first test of the dungeon. Then we're using Paragon, guys. The Paragon does not change when it's a low reso or high reso. It is simply this setup here, Slinger. We're going to be using Uncanny, Unseen Dynamism, Gifted, Bloodthirst, and Superiority. And then we're still going to go in with the Death's to Release, because I think this is still good to take. It does a lot of AoE explosion. You could also take Lightning Rod, you know, dealing damage to an enemy 10 times, causes lightning to strike and to damage all nearby enemies. I think either one of those two you'll be fine taking. Warband Room, you want to be taking Protector, or you could also take Attacker, depending on what your movement speed is like. I do prefer Protector because I like to be bigger and moving through the dungeon quicker. Then our Familiars, you want to be taking a pet that's got lingering wounds because that is going to increase our damage done again. When it comes to cursed properties, you could use pretty much anything you want in there. They don't make that much difference when it comes to doing this build. I'm still running Detested simply because that's what I use in my PvP build. I think personally, like, we should be able to have a PvE section of cursed properties, and I think we should then be able to have a PvP set of cursed properties. But until they allow us to save that to our armory, we just have to stick with whatever we can. Now, let's show you what it does in a solo dungeon then, when it comes to this max Reso, guys. Because I think you're going to be very surprised about the damage this can output. So we've got laser here, so that's neither here nor there. We don't need to worry about it. But we're going to buff up. We're going to go straight in. We're going to teleport. And we're going to go straight over here and do tons of damage here. You can see the amount of damage is already outputting, like 58 million per second. Kill that last dude, and then we're over to this part already. You just got to be making sure that you're bringing up Bone Spirits as soon as it's available to you. And I'm only using 2 out of 4 class effects on this. I really want to go for that 4, but I have yet to find the pieces that I need to get it to that 4. I believe that Bone Spirits is our hardest hitting ability in the game currently when it comes to the Necromancer. I don't think there's anything that hits harder. I should be doing around, yeah, 51%, nearly 52% of my damage has been with Bone Spirits so far. It's knowing the dungeons, knowing when to bring them up, and then knowing how to use the cooldowns effectively. And I think that just comes with practice, right? Single target, it doesn't hit as hard, but it still hits. You can see I'm at a distance here, and you can still see it hitting perfectly fine. Then we can show you the bosses here as well. This is a good dungeon to do for testing, because now you get to see the hits as solo or a single target. So it still puts out some big hits. You can see some 2.5, some 1.7s. You know, it's still doing a good amount of damage on the solo single target content. I don't know what it'd be like in raids, but I'm still testing a new raid build. Keep that bone armor up all the time, so we've always got our movement speed going. As soon as the boss pops up, we can then go and teleport in. The good thing about this Bone Spirits being so wide is you can see exactly what I did there. I stood on the edge of the actual freeze and was still able to do plenty of damage to this dude. So that's a solo higher Reso setup and higher secondary stats. And what I mean by higher Reso, higher secondary stats, you'll see I'm at 4438 with all gem resonance in, and then I've got 7.2, nearly 7.3 potency and 5.7 coming on for 5.8 armor penetration. Now let's leave dungeon and we'll show you in a lower Reso setup with exactly the same build. As you'll see here, I've taken out all secondaries apart from damage, and all the gems are mostly 2 stars. We got a rank 10 Entropic Well, we got a rank 10 Pain Clasp, we've got a rank 10 Spectre Glass, a rank 10 Mother's Lament, a rank 10 Berserker's Eye, and then we've got a rank 10 Chain Death to get increase in damage from the attacks that we do. We're staying with a Roiling Consequences, and we're staying with a Haunt Coil. But you could swap this out. Haunt Coil is great from rank 1. Roiling Consequences is also great from a lower rank. So if you haven't got them as a higher rank as I have, you can still use them absolutely fine. You can see I've taken out all them secondary gems. So you can see my potency now is only 4k, and my armor pen is only 3.2, coming on for 3.6. Crit chance you can still see is very high because my enchants and all that side of it is really, really on point. Okay then guys, let's show you the power of this build when it comes to being a low reso, and we'll see how this goes. It all depends on what fixes we really get. We don't want a surprise butcher or anything like that. We want a nice easy one. Okay, chains and conjuring, we can deal with this. So let's see how this pans out. The damage will be very good for a low reso, I think you'll find. We'll even bring up the damage meter here like this so you can see what Bone Spirits is really doing. Definitely take a little bit longer to kill mobs, but I think, you know, we'll do absolutely fine. The bosses will definitely take a little bit longer than they did originally. Bone Spirit should be up. There we go. But the Bone Spirits is definitely the damage dealer here, so you want that up about 90% of the time. Which I think is what we average right now. There we go. Nice and easy. Watch for the mage's bubbles. Should be that one down. That one will be down. Next. There we go. And we're through to the next area. So we're still at 49% damage from Bone Spirits. Let's see how the boss goes. The bosses always are going to be the important ones, right? Okay. This one will be fun. As soon as we get ads up, we can blast, because then we get all of the extra damage from our novas. Nice. Now we just have to watch out for the slams. Always stay behind this dude, especially when you're soloing. Nice and easy. Keeping bone armor up so we always got the buffs is good. Now we've got to watch out for spinning blades. The spinning blades, you'll soon see them. Them ones there, they will one-shot you. In a low reso setup. I purposely stayed out of his way then because I knew he was going to do it. Now we've got the boss. Nice and simple. The amount of ads we get here, the amount of damage we can put out is quite nice, considering we're in this dungeon solo. If the boss didn't go invisible, it would be nice. Takes a little bit longer for sure. Now we finish him up. And there we go, guys. So now you've seen the higher reso, my max reso, and then you've seen this lower reso, low stat build. It does work perfectly. Now, there is some other things I want to go through with this with you, so you can see what other pieces you could swap in and out, because there is some swaps you can actually do. And I think you will get a benefit from them depending on your gear level, right? So green sets then, guys, depending on your crit hit chance level, if you've got really high crit hit chance already, then you definitely want to stick with Agments, right? And if you've got really low crit hit chance already, then you want to maybe go with Banquet of Eyes, because then you're going to be gaining crit hit chance from Banquet of Eyes, depending on the amount of conditional effects you can put on the targets, up to like 25%, which is really, really good. If you are going with Banquets, then you possibly want to change the chest piece. So instead of it being for this part, you would actually then go and put it in maybe for bone armor, and you would go with Unfilled Grave, because then you're just going to get a damage increase, and don't worry about the burning damage, because this is still going to give you an incredible amount of damage, and that is the best solution here. You could also swap the shoulders out if you don't need the movement speed, for instance, but I don't think it's going to be, you know, something that goes on. I think you'll be fine with the current shoulders that you've got. You know, bone armor here. You could then go with crit damage, look, incision cusp. So you've got options. But guys, that is the build in a nutshell. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this build. Do tell me what you think. If you've got comments, changes, anything about you want to do to the build, let me know in the comments, or jump into my Discord. You can even, if you're on my server, direct message me and we can have a conversation about it there. But I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this build. But guys, if you do like the content I bring, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, definitely come and jump in that Discord. But we will see you on the live streams on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Peace out, guys.